everybody. It is your favorite NBA Yap artist back at it once again. Daily content here on the channel. So, folks, if you enjoy it, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, leave a subscribe. Getting close to 10,000 subs, folks. Smash that subscribe button. And we're going to get right into it. Today, we're doing something a little interesting. Like, I didn't intend for this to be kind of like an early season award check-in, but that's kind of what it ended up being accidentally. So we're going to get into that. First and foremost, obviously, we got to take a sip of no coffee. We're a little bit later in the day. We're about to go to the gym. Alani, Orange Kiss. It's good, folks. God damn it. It just does something for me. I don't know what to tell you. It just does. I also have a quick little new fun segment at the end of this video. Stick around and I'll explain it. It'll be pretty fun. So let's dive into it. I had a couple of you yesterday because, look, Jokic is Jokic is absolutely batshit insane, and I did not even mention his 55-point game against the Clippers in the video yesterday. I totally forgot, and I had some of you in the comments wondering what the fuck is going on, and I felt like, okay, let's talk a little bit about Jokic. Only a couple of games last night, none of them all that interesting. Let's talk a little bit about some of what Jokic has done so far this season, because it has been absolutely insane. And the reason this turned into kind of like an award check-in video is I wanted to go through, all right, who's been the best out of like the consensus top four players? Who's been like the best second-year guy, the best rookie? And it was just like, oh, there's kind of like a clear-cut guy in each of these categories. So then it just kind of turned into an awards category. Jokic has been far and away the best player in the league so far this season. Shouldn't be much of a surprise because really he's probably been the best player in the league going on like 5 consecutive years. And he drops 55 points against the Clippers, 12 rebounds. He's going absolutely batshit insane as of late. He had a game a week ago where he had 33, 15, and 16. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's become so standard for Jokic that, yeah, it's just like, oh, Jokic had another all-time great game last night. Well, yeah, that's what he does. I do think that we take him for granted, and I'm guilty of it. I absolutely do think I take Jokic for granted. Not that I don't acknowledge that he's fantastic. Not that I don't, enjoy watching him play. I very much enjoy watching him play. But I do think I just take for granted the fact that we were probably witnessing one of the 10 best players to ever play the sport playing right now at such a high level. Like this right here is this right here kind of encapsulates. It's a hilarious tweet. Jaws, since his 1-game suspension, 28% from the field, 17% from 3, 41% true shooting. Jesus Christ. Tough time quote tweeted this and said, so used to Jokic's stat lines. No joke, thought that the first 2 stats were points and rebounds. Because that really would. If that was like Jokic over his last 7 games, 28 points, 17 rebounds, they'd be like, yep. 41% from 3. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. What's he on pace for? 60, 40, 80. That's currently what he's shooting from the field. Then 60 is doing it a misjustice right there. 68% from the field, 41% from deep, and 85% from the free throw line. Jokic has never really came close to 90% from 3. Or from 3. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at this point. 90% from the free throw line. But I do wonder if Jokic could squeeze it in a 50, 40, 90 season. Can you just imagine? I mean, that would just add on top of the batshit insane statistical stuff that Jokic has done. 6 triple-doubles already so far this season. His last 5 games, this little 5-game stretch that he's on, where he's averaging 36 points per game, 85% true shooting, is the highest true shooting percentage in a 5-game stretch ever. This stat is absolutely insane, that automatic NBA shared, because just look at Steph Curry. I feel like Steph Curry is a guy that kind of lost in just like the Warriors and how everyone wanted them to lose. And then when KD went there, kind of gets lost just how incredible he is. Not by Steph stands. I understand that. Trust me, I see it. But just in general. Yeah, I mean, there was clips from this game going around and people were like, look at this horrible defense played on Jokic. He's not guardable. I need people to understand Jokic very easily could lead the league in scoring. And that's not something that's crazy to say, right? This is somebody who's averaged just under 30 points per game in a season. But a reason why he doesn't is because, one, he is somebody who obviously wants to get his teammates involved, but also defenses understand that he could score pretty much every single time he wants. I need you guys to understand in this clip here, in these clips, like this isn't, this isn't, God bless him, this isn't Christian Wood guarding Nikola Jokic in the post. This is a Ivica Zubac. This is one of the best post defenders the league has to offer, and Jokic is making him look like a child. making him look like a child. And then what is it? You want to send two? You want to send a double team? Jokic is literally wanting you to do that. He's that level of playmaker. He wants you to do that, right? There's some of these guys like Jokic, Luka, these top tier playmakers where it's like, we want you to send double teams. We're tall. We can make every single pass there is. We can easily pass out of a double team, and that gets my teammates an open look, right? And now that it's 3-ball, which he's up to 4.4 a game. Started the season slow from 3, didn't he? I was actually surprised to see he was 40% from 3 because didn't he start the season kind of rough from there? He did. Yeah, he did. He was him being 40% from 3 is hilarious because if I'm looking at this correctly, he was 2 for his first 16. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, what the hell? Why not? What the hell? Sure. Why the hell not, huh? Just insane what we're seeing. I mean, he's clear-cut the best player in the league. And I actually think a big reason for this and why he looks so good this season, part of it, obviously, is not the fact that they brought in like a Cam Johnson who hasn't even been good yet. They've got the best offense on the league. Cam Johnson hasn't even been good yet. Not the fact that they brought in a Tim Hardaway Jr., although I'm liking the way Timmy looks over there. Brought back Bruce Brown. It's Jonas's inclusion. Like, it does feel like finally they have a backup big, and the on-off numbers are still absolutely insane. But finally they have a backup big that is allowing Jokic to, he's at 33 minutes per game so far. We'll see how that looks. He was around 30. He was almost 37 minutes a game last year. So, a little bit less load on Jokic. Valanciunas has looked good so far for them, and this inclusion right here is going to help them out tremendously. We talked about Oklahoma City yesterday. I still just don't think there's a team that can compete with them. I just don't. But if there was one, it would be this Nuggets team, because obviously you've got Jokic, best player in the world, could be the best player on the floor for 7 games in that series. But also you've got the other ball handler in Jamal Murray. You've got good perimeter defenders. You've got guys who could handle the ball without turning it over a trillion times. And that's kind of the recipe you would need on top of needing Jokic to play like Jokic, which I was going to say a miraculous Jokic performance, but that's just like what he does. There's nothing miraculous about it. So I want to give some love and support. I know we've got a couple of guys in the community that are big time Denver Nuggets guys. I know how good Jokic is. I am taking him a bit for granted. I don't know why. It's not intentional, and it's not like I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't care. I do care. I love watching Jokic play. I do acknowledge he's incredible, but I just feel like we've talked about it so much, and he's the most, him and Shea, here's the thing with him and Shea. I talked about this, I think, yesterday. They're the 2 most consistent guys in the league, I think, where it's like every night, it's like, yep, I know exactly what I'm going to get from Jokic, and every now and then he'll pull like a 40, 20, 30. I know he's never done that, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Performance out of his ass, and it's like, what the fuck? What did he just do? That it's just, we've grown accustomed to it in a lot of ways. So I am guilty of it, and I'll do better. I'll do better about it, because I've also really enjoyed watching this Nuggets team play as well. Jokic or Valanciunas, guys, I'm gonna be real with you about something real quick. Valanciunas, I've actually modeled some of my pickup game off of. And it's crazy because I'm 6'2", maybe 6'3" in basketball shoes. So there are runs where I could be one of the taller players. But in terms of standing at the top of the key, whipping the water polo passes, and the up fakes, Jonas Valanciunas' 3-point fake would get me every single time. He's one of those 3-point shooters where it's like you really shouldn't be biting on this. But it's so good. And how it looks like it's a travel every time, but it's not. He doesn't come off the ground. And he barely comes off the ground when he shoots. That I've kind of modeled some of it after that, just in my film studies and obviously implementing that into my rigorous workouts. The next guy I wanted to talk about. So we talked about Jokic kind of in like that MVP tier. The rookies. Con Knipple has been the best rookie in the NBA so far this season, I would say comfortably. And there is some stuff from him. We knew that he was NBA ready, right? Like the idea of him playing off of LaMelo, playing off of Brandon Miller, very intriguing with his shooting and his ability to cut, his ability to just find open spaces on the floor. The stuff that he did all last year at Duke with Cooper Flagg playing off of him. There's some other encouraging stuff here. First player in NBA history to total 150 points, 30 plus threes in his first 10 games of his career. But beyond that, let's look at this right here. LaMelo's obviously a guy who plays 12 games a season, and it appears Brandon Miller might be that guy too, unfortunately. But in the last 4 games that LaMelo Ball has missed, Con Knipples, 23 points per game, 9 rebounds, nearly 5 assists on 62% true shooting. Can I tell you guys what he reminds me of a little bit watching some of this? Their play styles are a little bit different. I've seen people say Austin Reeves. I do kind of see that, obviously with the whiteness, right? But beyond that, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of see some D-Book. And they don't, the mid-range game's a little bit different, but just in the sense that he gets to his spots so easily and effortlessly, and it does feel like contests rarely bother him. You know, Booker kind of has a one-of-one jumper where he just gets so much air on these jumpers that it's pretty much non-contestable. But I see some similarities in just how comfortably Con Knippel operates in the mid-range games. And I think some similarities beyond just like specific style of play, similarities in the sense where it's like, could this guy be so much more than what we thought he could be when we drafted him? Like, could we squint and see a world where Con Knippel is like our number one guy? Or is he just more of like let me just sort of play off of somebody. I'll be cool being a number two. If you need me to jump in games and be that guy, I could, but I'm better suited being a number two guy. That's what time will tell. But he's been very, very good so far this season. And it's been a fantastic rookie class. I mean, Derek Queen, I'm excited to see what Derek Queen produces as he starts to play more. Obviously, Cooper Flagg's last 5 games have been very, very good and very encouraging. Not a coincidence. It's been 5 games since the Mavericks have started a point guard. So he's been much better, and it's looked very encouraging. Ace Bailey's starting to figure it out a little bit in Utah. They score a fuck ton of points, and they give up a fuck ton of points. But it's a environment where there's a lot of points to be had, and Ace Bailey's starting to find his way into that mix. I'm very excited for Dylan Harper to come back. VJ Edgecombe has been struggling a little bit over the last few weeks. His minute per game stuff is a little too high. They really need to figure out how they can tone down him and Maxi's minutes. Hopefully Jared McCain's coming back will help there. And then Kalkbrenner, I mean, we talked about these rookies, man. There's a ton of great rookies in this class. Will Richard, and Con Knippel to me has just been clear-cut better than all of them, which just goes to show just how good Con Knippel has been so far. And again, it goes beyond he's hitting open threes, nice. He's hitting open threes and a few assists here and there. He's going out there without LaMelo Ball, has the ball in his hands, and is getting good looks almost every time. And it's just like, okay, who exactly is this guy? Second-year players, breakout players. It's a second-year sophomore class that I think has been pretty promising so far. Stephon Castle looks very good. Alex Sarr looks very good. Speaking with the Wizards, Keyshawn George has looked really solid so far this season. Dude, AJ Mitchell, what the fuck am I seeing? Seriously. Honestly, it's actually starting to piss me off a little tiny bit because I tweeted this out earlier today. Dude, AJ Mitchell actually dead ass would play 30 minutes a game. Probably even more than that on the Dallas Mavericks right now. And let's actually say this. If AJ Mitchell started the season with the Mavs for some reason and was playing 30 plus minutes a game, the Mavericks, who are currently 3-9, if they had AJ Mitchell starting the season, I think they could be 6-6, which considering their injuries would be a massive win. I think they could be at least 6-6, maybe even better than that. On top of the very great playmaking, him and Hartenstein's 2-man game is chef's kiss. Very, very good. Hartenstein's actually been incredible so far this year. But him and Hartenstein's 2-man game has been incredible. He's also amazing defensively. He's been one of the best perimeter defenders, one of the best guard defenders in the league. And even his defense pops at times on this Thunder team. I don't know. I was hearing Bill Simmons and Legler talk about him earlier on the podcast today, and they were wondering if a team just threw a bag at AJ Mitchell, could that be a Jalen Brunson 2.0 situation? I don't see Jalen Brunson in his game really, but the comparison of hey, this guy that we thought was just kind of a role player and maybe a bench guy, second rounder, and as time's worn on and he's gotten a little bit more opportunity, you're like, hold on a second, this guy, how good could this guy be? I don't know. Like I said, watching the Mavericks, I've watched every Mavericks game and I've watched every Thunder game. I know. Leave your comments below. AJ Mitchell would have this team at 6-6, maybe even 7-5. Truthfully, I really do believe that. And I do think in a second-year class that has been pretty solid, he's been far and away the most impressive guy. I got to talk about this guy right here. Woo! Talk about most improved players. I think Jaylen Johnson's already kind of had his breakout. Unfortunately, he got injured last year. I think he was on his way to an all-star appearance. Jaylen Johnson, man. Guys, I want to be early on this, and I feel like I have been early on this. I've been talking about him for a couple years now. 23 years old, about to turn 24. I want to plant my flag here, guys. This isn't just a standard leap. You watch Jaylen Johnson play, and you especially have watched these last few games without Trae Young, what are they without Trae Young now? Like 5-2 or something like that? You watch these last few games without Trae Young, and you watch Jaylen Johnson basically be the guy for them. We're talking a different category, man. We're talking beyond just like interesting breakout guys. We're talking like jumping into other tiers, jumping into star tiers. That's what I see when I see Jaylen Johnson play basketball, man. Like I mentioned, I watched this Jazz game last night. There's not a lick of defense being played in Utah, guys. Not a lick of it. There's no defense being played in Utah, man. The Hawks were just walking up the court like, I guess I just have a wide open three. Like, who the fuck's on defense? I guess I'm just shooting a wide open three now because no one's around me. 31, 18, and 14 with 7 steals. What? What the hell? 31, 18, 14, and 7 is a crazy ass stat line. But here's the thing, guys. You watch him play. I talked about this before the season when we talked about Cooper Flagg. Talked about comparisons. I said, I could see a Jaylen Johnson. And I think when I said that, a lot of people are like, no. That was not said as like a diss to Cooper Flagg, because I think incredibly highly of Jaylen Johnson. Incredibly highly of Jaylen Johnson. So I meant that as like a compliment that I see a lot of Jaylen Johnson in Cooper Flagg's game potentially. It's the playmaking, guys. This is the stuff with him. It's not... When you have a forward who's as athletic as he is, and he sees the floor as well as he does, and he's willing to come off the ball as much as he is, and, I would say that I don't know how often I see him necessarily making like super advanced reads, but I also don't think he gets that much of an opportunity when Trae Young's playing, but he does have that capability of like manipulating defenses and playmaking off of that. These are the type of players who win championships. These are the type of players who not only win championships, but are best players, second best players on championship teams. I don't know if I would ever go as far as to say, I think Jaylen Johnson absolutely could be the best player on a championship team. That's saying quite a bit. But we've seen these forwards take these leaps and become these offensive type, point forwards that are really difficult to play defense against and really difficult to scheme against. And then on top of that, you could just build your team in so many different directions when you have a guy like Jaylen Johnson. I like Trae Young. I've been a Trae Young defender his whole career. Dude, I watched this Hawks team play, and they go out there last night, and they've got Jaylen Johnson, they've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they've got Dyson Daniels, they've got Reese Shea, they've got Okongwu, and then they bring in like Asa Newell off the bench. Okongwu's banging 8 threes. He hit 8 threes in this game last night. Again, the Hawks were literally just catching passes. Guys, you have to, like, I'm going to shoot this if you guys don't contest this shot, right? You guys know that. But it's a fun group. It is a very interesting and fun group. Man, Jaylen Johnson is a fucking stud, dude. Over the last 4 games, 23 points, 11 rebounds per game, 8.5 assists. 8.5 assists. It ain't normal. Who's next? Victor Wembanyama. I want to talk about him. Maybe a little overboard immediately the first few games where it was like, oh, no, this guy's already the best player in the world. Like, he's already reached that. Obviously, we didn't realize just how shit the Dallas Mavericks were whenever he dropped that 40 bomb on them. And they are shit. They are absolutely shit. And the offensive efficiency and stuff has kind of tanked, and he's had some stinkers offensively, although he's still playing incredibly well on that end of the floor. But it's just, sometimes you just need a reminder. He's still far and away the best defensive player in the world, and it's not even remotely close. And if he stays healthy, look at this. Please watch this 18 seconds. It's just absolutely insane. If he stays healthy and plays a good amount over the course of his career, he'll be the best defensive player to ever play the game. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it was supposed to happen like that. He's 7'7" and can move like this. Like, yeah, of course. He just stuck with Steph Curry for 17 seconds and then blocked a shot. It's absolutely absurd what he's doing defensively. Absolutely insane. And then I wanted to briefly talk about Jaime Jaquez, because I wasn't intending on doing this. A lot of white passing dudes on here. But Jaime Jaquez I wanted to talk about because this just did kind of quasi turn into like an award check-in thing. Jaime Jaime Jaquez has been fantastic off the bench. He leads all bench players in points. I believe in rebounds as well. Yeah, rebounds plus minus. He's been one of the most prolific drivers in the league so far this season, and he's a big reason why the Heat have had the start they've had, because his ability to just get into the paint, I mean, it's been really impressive to see so far to start this season. So since this did kind of turn into an award check, and I wanted to shout out Jaime Jaquez, who if the season ended today, 12 games in, catastrophe would have to strike. Wouldn't be that surprising. He'd be the sixth man of the year, and I think deservedly so. All right, so on to this little segment here that we're going to do. So I decided, all right, each night there's a slate of games. I watch this. I don't want to fall into this habit where I'm watching the same teams over and over. Obviously, I'm going to watch every Mavericks game. Probably going to watch most Luka games. Like the big time games, I'm going to watch. But there's always a handful of games that I look at. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to watch that game tonight unless something batshit insane happens. What we're going to do is we're going to spin a wheel at the end of each of these ramble videos, and whatever game it lands on, I have to watch and go over. Okay. And these are games that I probably would not watch otherwise. Nets Magic, like, let's be real. I ain't watching much Nets basketball this year. Hornets Bucks, that could actually be a pretty fun game. Blazers Rockets, I included on here because it's a pretty packed slate of games tonight. And Kings Timberwolves. Now, I do love watching the Timberwolves play basketball a good amount. This is the one I want the least because the Kings fucking reek. And this is the worst watch in the NBA. And I know what I'm saying. So let's go. Let's spin the wheel and see. I also didn't include the Lakers Pelicans on here because I watched most Luka games, but all right, Hornets Bucks. That's a huge dub. So, okay, well, I'll make sure to go back and watch a Hornets Bucks game tomorrow morning or something, and we'll talk about it on tomorrow's Ramble video. Okay, we're gonna do this for every Ramble video now. All right.